Not only did Labrynth receive new support in the new selection pack, but it also received its very own secret pack, meaning that if you are a returning player or brand new player, this is a very cheap and great deck to hop right into. In this video, I'm going to be showcasing top tips and tricks, advanced duel highlights. Let's hop right into it. Now, quickly before we go into the gameplay, as we go into the top decks page and click on the Labrynth deck type, we can click on one of these random decks, lots of notes and combos and replays, but we're going to go to the Labrynth breakdown here, which is going to be showing us that the majority people that are playing the deck are playing with the furniture cards, but some aren't. There was a recent tournament top, and that was playing without the furniture cards. I'm expecting more tournaments soon to hopefully have more Labrynth tops, but until then, Hot Water is the only Mad Lad to top a tournament with the deck. Otherwise, make sure you check out this breakdown, look at this, screenshot it, or go onto the website. This is how people are playing it. And the main difference between the furniture and the non-furniture is the furniture is, I would say, a lot more explosive and combo heavy, where if we look at Hot Water's deck list, they're going to have more room for more cards like maybe Floodgates. Now, let's hop on the gameplay. All right, let's get started with an ideal turn one. We're going to have Ariana search for the Torby here, and I'm going to stop right now because the most important thing for you to learn with this deck is you need the clock in the graveyard if you're going to activate any of your furniture cards to discard as a cost to then set a trap from the deck or your field spell. The clock just needs to be in the graveyard on the activation of these, so you could chainlink one clock, chainlink two furniture. Don't ever activate the furniture cards without the clock being in the grave. Now, watch this. Chainlink one clock, it's in the graveyard, doesn't have to resolve its effect, that's okay, and because it's in the graveyard, by the time we activate our furniture card, which is also a quick effect, as you can see, to set a trap or field spell, the clock will be activating on resolution of the other cards. Now we have Lady Labrynth because we activated a Labrynth card. It could special summon onto the field. We are going to be called by the graving onto that Max C. Let's focus on the important parts of this guide so you know what is good. What are the advanced parts? So we're going to be setting up a big welcome Labrynth. This is generally going to be the card you always want to get access to. Not only is it insane for triggering your lovely Labrynth, but its other effect while in the graveyard, being able to spin a card in the field back to the hand. If you control a lady or lovely, that is also amazing. So let's finish this. And now that they have resolved, the clock is triggering from the furniture cards. Remember, just get the clock into the graveyard, at least on Chainlink 1, on a lower Chainlink before the furniture cards. And I'm summoning it onto the field here. This could be considered risky if they have an Ash, because the clock cannot activate while on the field. So consider that risk. So we're going to be able to big welcome Labrynth, return the clock to the hand while summoning a lovely Labrynth. And with the lady on the field, you want to chain it to any trap card. And the lovely is going to be summoning right after this resolution. And what do you want to set with the lady? Well, you have two main cards to auto-win duels. And that's going to be Dimension Barrier and the Eradicator Epidemic Virus. We're going to get to that card in this same duel, and we're going to talk about both in a bit. Those are your two auto-win cards versus whatever your specific matchup is. So this is now going to be returning the clock, and I want you to understand this. I know these other cards are a bit distracting. This is insane what I'm about to tell you. If your opponent's going first, you could, on your opponent's turn, remember what we activated. We had clock, we had a furniture card. All you need is just those two cards plus an additional card for discarding, and you, on your opponent's turn, will be able to set the big welcome. You will then be able to special summon the clock on the field during your opponent's turn. You will then be able to activate the big welcome, summoning a lovely, returning the coup clock back to your hand, activating the lovely to pop a card on their field or from their hand, and your furniture cards, the Torby's going to summon onto the field, and the Chandelier is going to add back to the hand. That is insanity. So do remember, clock Chainlink 1, furniture Chainlink 2, and there is a slight bug with it. If they are on the field when they activate a Chainlink to the clock for some reason does not trigger. It is a bug, I promise you. Just make sure you activate the furniture cards on a separate Chainlink after getting the clock in the graveyard to avoid that situation. Now, don't get distracted by that. Lovely is going to randomly pop. As I said, the furniture cards are going to summon on the field and add back to the hand. Very efficient here. this discarded the Torby, and then the clock was also in the graveyard, and then we used the big welcome summon. I know I'm repeating myself, but like, look, the cards we discarded and summoned, they're all here. It's crazy. So pop a card from the hand randomly, and the Lovely is going to be able to reset a trap from the graveyard, which will ideally be our big welcome Labrynth. And we did not activate the effect of our Torby yet, so we're going to discard the Chandelier to set another card. I think it's going to be good to have the field spell here because it allows us to use with the welcome Labrynth cards to be able to pop cards on the field. Also, if you use a non-Labrynth trap, it's going to be able to summon your lovely Labrynth from the graveyard onto the field, even your Lady. And it's worth noting, the Lady could just win games alone. She's untargetable, indestructible by card effects as long as you have a set card. That could be a set monster. That could be a set field spell. So before you're activating her in response to a trap or anything, if you have a card that you would like to set before doing so, make sure you do. Just 3,000 attack, untargetable, indestructible is enough to just win games alone against a lot of decks. Now let's continue this crazy combo. Ideal turn 1 because it's not done. We're going to make plays during their draw phase. All right. They're going to get drawn. We're going to big welcome Labrynth. And we do want to, again, chain the Lady to the big welcome. The big welcome is going to be as a normal trap, spinning a card back to our hand, which we want it to be a monster, which will then trigger the furniture cards to add back to the hand and special summon. We're going to make sure before we want to activate our furniture cards, or I should say before we activate the lovely Labrynth trigger effect, I do want to get the coup clock into the graveyard because it's going to be a very important combo here. So let's set this up. The clock's going to make it so we can activate a newly set trap this turn. We're going to be setting up Eradicator. And these are the two main cards of the deck, Dimensional Barrier and Eradicator. Do you have to play 3 of each? Well, you can't. This one's at 1. You only have to play 1 of each because your Lady is going to set the Dimensional Barrier or set the Eradicator. The Dimensional Barrier states that you declare Ritual Fusion, Synchro Exceeder, Pendulum, and then for the rest of the turn, they cannot special summon that monster type onto the field, and if they already have it on the field, it is negated. And then you have Eradicator. You call Trap or Spell after attributing your monster 2,500 or more attack, which the Lady and Lovely meet that requirement. You then destroy all copies of that card type, and you continue to do so for the next 3 turns for them drawing cards. So let's say you're under Max C or they play Pot of E. Those newly drawn cards, if they are spells or traps, whichever one you called, you're going to look at them and you will also be destroying them. Now, the Dimensional Barrier was already set, so we're going to be able to use that, and the Eradicator is newly set, which the clock is going to make it so we could activate it. So this is just insanely ideal. We got both of them activatable. We're going to special summon another Lady and then going to return the Lady. So this is still activatable to special summon onto the field. Now, don't forget, you're also triggering Ariana. We're triggering like 4 cards here. We have Lovely activating to pop a card from the hand. We have Ariana activating to draw a card, and then we could special summon Lady or even set a trap from the hand. And the furniture cards are going to be activating. Let's get to it. So let's go. Let's draw. The Torby is going to be special summoning. The Chandelier is going to be adding. I'm going to be activating the Eradicator. Now, this could be quite contentious because in Master Duel, it's best of 1. You don't really know what's in your opponent's hand. So in the TCG, when you do know, it is better to put Chainlink 2 Eradicator, Chainlink 1 Lovely. The main reason for that is you don't want Lovely to randomly destroy a spell, and then you destroy more spells with Eradicator. You want the Eradicator to destroy all spells in their hand, and then the Lovely on the lower Chainlink is going to be then destroying the remaining cards from their hand, if any. In Master Duel, the difference could be you maybe want to destroy a card first with Lovely to see what deck you're playing against, and then when you see, hey, we're playing against a trap deck, you could then, instead with the Eradicator activating it to call spell, you could call trap. So that could give you a more informed decision in a best of 1 format that is Master Duel. So let's keep on going. And as you can see here, the Mad Lad does not have spell. But this is showcasing to you with Lovely, we popped a card from the hand on our turn. We're popping a card on their turn. We're activating calling spells. We also have an activatable Dimensional Barrier. Both were searched for. This is crazy. All right, let's keep on going. Nothing, because called spell. The Mad Lad has no spells. Obviously, we can see the hand now, but I did not know while playing. All right, the Lady is going to be special summon attack position through the effect of Ariana. Otherwise, it gets summoned in defense. And we are randomly popping the Lilith with the Lady. And because we activate Eradicator, the field spell is going to activate to reborn our Lovely back in the field. Now, the Stovey and the Chandelier being discarded, just going to set a Welcome Labrynth, which will be usable with our Labrynth. Right here, this was not needed whatsoever. You could have just waited to set a big Welcome. I did not really look at the Mad Lad's hand. I did not know that he had evenly matched, but we're still going to be okay. We're still going to cook through having the Dimensional Barrier and the Eradicator. The clock is activating, adding back to the hand. Very good that we did that. And then we get evenly matched. Holy moly. So even after an absolute perfect setup, which would decimate any deck we play on the ladder, we somehow played against someone that had no spells for us to destroy with the Eradicator and was still able to evenly match us. But it's okay. So let's do this up. He's got the field spell. He's got nothing. So we're going to end phase, set up the big Welcome Labrynth, which is the best trap to have with your Lovely to summon Lovely. It's important to note that the big Welcome will summon Lovely from the hand, deck, or grave, but the Welcome Labrynth will only be able to summon from the deck. That's what makes this even better. Being able to recycle the Lovely Labrynth after being used, that's crazy. So right away, we're just going to want to use the big Welcome, return the Ariana because I could normal summon her, so that's why it's okay. Still have that active normal summon, activating to pop. We're going to then use the Torby and the Stovey, activating because a monster was returned back to the hand. As a monster left the field, that is, from a normal trap. All right, let's resolve it. Come forth and summon. Non-target poppage. We pop that Solemn Judgment, and then we're going to be able to, with the Lovely, reset a trap from the graveyard. This is crazy ideal turn one, even though it wasn't crazy enough to completely decimate this Mad Lad's opening play. So what we missed out here is that we max seed them. They then use Triple Tactics Talent, spun a card from her hand back into the deck. Now during their end phase, we're going to be activating a furniture card to set a trap during the end phase. Ideally, going to be that big Welcome Labrynth. Discarding Lovely because we could summon her from the graveyard with the big Welcome. Going to maxi us, and you know what? I am not having it. I am going to hit you with the Ash. So let's now set this up. For the Lovely to be summoned with the big Welcome, we want to have another body on the field. So we're going to get that Ariana out. Ariana is going to be activated to search our deck. They're going to activate Celiac to negate her, but we got big Welcome, mate. So it's going to spin her back, dodge the negate, get ready. This is great. So we're going to be, from the graveyard, summon that Lovely. Lovely come forth. Of course, got to unspeed it up so you can see the animation. Spinning her back, dodging the negate. You negated nothing. And because you negated nothing, you now don't get to send because this says you have to negate its effects, then you get to send. Anytime a card effect says then, you have to perform before that. It's either when the card says then or if you do. Let's keep on resolving this. We're going to add the clock with the effect of the Ariana. Lovely is going to be popping a card from the hand or on the field. Now, of course, I don't know that's an evenly match. I'm just going to pop it because for all I know, it could be a crime that they're holding on to. It's nothing, so now I'm upset. But we're going to be using the Lovely to reset the big Welcome Labrynth to use during the next turn. And as we talked about earlier, clock Chainlink 1, the furniture on Chainlink 2. You don't have to Chainlink 2 the furniture. You could clock Chainlink 1, let it resolve, and then you could Chainlink 1 the furniture if that makes you feel better about this play. And again, if you activate them on the field, Chainlink 2 to the clock, it does get bugged out. So we're going to be setting up a Welcome Labrynth here as I'm setting up the big Welcome to be used during the next turn. The Welcome Labrynth is activatable. We could not activate the big Welcome again, obviously. We're now going to be summoning in attack position Our Lady, which is going to be untargetable, indestructible by card effect. They can't use Celiac unless they have a Tearlament on the field, and by battle, if they are destroyed, they don't activate. You don't mill, you don't fuse, and we have the clock on the field. Even though it can't activate on the field, we want to return it back to the hand with the big Welcome Labrynth. So let's beat them down. Perfect. If you special summon Lady through her own effect from your hand, she goes in defense, so you can't go on the offensive with her. So now let's wrap this up. How are we going to clap them up? King of the Swamp is going to be adding a Polymerization, and that's a big no-no. I'm not going to grab Eradicator. I'm going to be grabbing the Dimensional Barrier. So after grabbing some intel off the opponent, and for the right time to do this, this is now what I'm going to be doing. So let's Chainlink 2, grab the Dimensional Barrier. Very good. We're going to special summon the Ariana. And, you know, obviously we're playing against Tearlaments. I think that we should have actually done this in the draw phase. Maybe my toggle wasn't on. That's what I'm thinking. So we're going to spin back the clock. And I mean, what are you going to do now? We're going to Ariana Search, or we're going to use her effect to draw. We're going to use the Lovely. We could if we want. Maybe we don't even want to Lovely. We could pop a card from their hand. If it's a fusion monster Tearlaments that would activate the fuse, we would chain the dimensional barrier to it, and that's it. You activate it, they can't fuse, you auto win. And then with the Lovely, you're going to activate to reset the dimensional barrier next turn. This deck is nuts, and it's also very cheap because you don't really even need your extra deck. All right, we are playing against the mirror match. They got 4 cards set. It is the end phase. We're going to summon our Lady so we can put it into attack position next turn. The first thing we want to do here is set up a back row so that the Lady cannot be targeted. So let's quickly get that set. We got the double set. She's now untargetable, ready to rumble. Going to be activating the welcome. We're going to chain to the welcome. I mean, what could they do? If they activate a trap and I got the Lady, we get a free trap from the deck. I got Eradicator to clap up this mirror match. Now it's Lady versus Lady. I am going to be chain link blocking their Lady. It's very important to do this because if they activate a trap and they have a Lady, you have to activate a spell or a monster effect, and ideally also it could be your own Lady. That stops their Lady from being able to set a free trap. Do not mess that up. Always block it if you can. And also, this is just a great time to use the Call by the Grave, getting rid of their lovely Labrynth, so now they're not going to have a way to recycle her, and generally the deck only plays 1. We're going to get to the ratios towards the end of the video if I think so, if I decide we want to put it in. All right, get that lovely out of here. And he just scoops it up. So it's just a very quick showcase of why you want to chain link block the Lady, and how good Call by the Grave is, not just for the Ash, which stops your big welcome, but also in the mirror match. Get rid of potentially their clock. I know a lot of people are playing 2 clock because of the Bestials, but maybe we're going to have to be ending up playing more than 1 lovely also. All right, nothing too crazy here. This is going to be a very simple turn 1 play. I'm going to hold on to the Max C. We don't know what we're playing against. We're going to be chaining the Lady, summoning itself onto the field, setting up a trap, setting up the Solemn. Now, some people may be wanting to grab the Welcome Labrynth. I do think that is a big mistake because if they ever chain link block your Lady when you're using the Welcome Labrynth, you really don't have any good plays. And as you can see with the Solemn Strike here, if we end up having to chain to a card potentially like an Ash, that also blocks our Lady, stopping our main play of using the big Welcome to chain the Lady to set an Eradicator or a Dimensional Barrier. Basically have 2 plays here. It's going to either set up our auto win Eradicator or Dimensional Barrier, or if something goes wrong, we're going to be using the big welcome to instead summon the Lovely, returning the Lady, activating the Lovely to pop a card on the hand or the field. So let's see how this plays out. Big welcome. This is where we want to not be chain link blocked, and unfortunately we get blocked. And if he did not have an Ash Blossom, another way to block this, which you should do in the mirror match, is chain your furniture card. It's so simple. It completely screws up my auto win play of setting up the other trap from the deck. Just like that, whether it Ash or the Labrynth Torby here, he was pretty good. But we're even better. We got the Solemn Strike to negate. If you're wondering, well, Solemn Strike's not a normal trap. Why are people playing this? I think the main reason, the best reason to play this is going to be because of the Ash Blossom, which straight up messes up your whole big welcome play. Then we would be pretty much done here. But thanks to the strike, we are going to now be negating the Ash, come forth and change up plans. Instead of with the Eradicator or the Dimensional Bear, we're going to return back the Lady. We're going to random pop a card from the hand. Now, the furniture cards are also going to be activating to add back because a monster left the field from a normal trap. Now, instead of popping a card from the hand, he's going to allow us to pop the impermanence by using Imperm itself. Now, the Torby has to summon itself onto the field, as now they're going to be able to evenly match us. So let's resolve all of that. I'm also going to just be dropping a Max C right now. I don't know what I'm playing against. You could see it right here, but their hand has not been revealed in any way whatsoever. I do want to play around the Triple Tactics talent. I don't want them to be able to yoink my monster or do anything crazy, or even look at my hand. All right, Pod E. Now we know that our Max C is going to be pretty much dead. And then we get even lead. We're going to keep the Lovely onto the field. And all right, get Torby in, set up the field spell. The field spell could really help you outgrind the mirror match. To the novice's eye here, you would look at this and be like, the dude at the top is going to win this. That would be a good observation because both of the welcome cards plus the field spell, how are we going to outgrind that? We're going to have to be smart, so let's focus. We're going to be special summoning here, and it is destroyable. It is targetable. This is non-target destruction with the welcome card to pop us. And going to do it right away before I set my back row. If you gave me the chance, I would have set the back row. I would have been protected. But I do have a furniture card to ensure that I have a set card on the resolution so that the lady will not be destroyed. Also, there's another card coming into play here. We do want to chain the lady first, and then we have Big Welcome from the graveyard. Do not forget about this additional effect in the grave. This will spin a card on the field back to the hand. So by spinning back the field spell back, it turns off the ability for the Welcome Labrynth to pop a card on the field. No poppage. All right, get spinning, get chaining. Now, what they could have done is they could have chained the Big Welcome Labrynth to my Big Welcome before the field spell gets spun back to summon a monster, which would have to be a lady, and then you would be able to pop even my lady. I wouldn't have a set card ready, but I will be chaining the chandelier to that if you decide to do that. Overall, you would have taken out my lovely if you would have done that play. Alrighty, setting up the Big Welcome here. And he knows it's over because the lovely's going to recycle a trap from the graveyard. He realized that he was screwed. So with the Labrynth deck type breakdown, remember, this is all from the same secret pack. It's pretty much all there. We even have that guide's pretty old, but the Trap in the Wicked Castle said, I believe it said 4 ultra rares and a couple super rares from here. This is great. I mean, this is pretty much all you need. If we go back to this page, you don't really need any card in your extra deck. If you optimize your extra deck for Dogmatica Punishment, the deck becomes a lot more expensive. But if you want to play the deck for cheap, you don't need all of this nonsense. Dimensional Barrier, Eradicator, super rares, they're very important. You only need 1 lovely. You only need 2 lady. You only need 2 welcome Labrynth. You definitely want 3 big welcome. If you're Chad, maybe you don't even want to play the Max C. Pot E, super rare. You could just fill up your extra deck with just random extra deck cards, but I do encourage you, the Muckraker is very good. If you have a card in your hand, you could reborn your lady or your lovely from the graveyard, then discard the card from your hand. And that could be good for even if you, let's say, you have lady special summon from your hand. What position is it in? It's in defense. If you want to attack with the lady with any other card, let's say you reborn the clock or you have an Ariana, you could then make the Muckraker, reborn the lady that you used to make the Muckraker, but now it's an attack position, ready to attack at 3,000 attack. That could be quite relevant. A card like Overroot, 50% are not even playing it. It's ultra rare, so not needed. This is a very good deck as a new player, returning player, a whatever player. This is good, and I do expect it to hopefully be on the tier list soon by maybe next week when some more tournaments happen, because this is what the tier list is looking like so far. And, Tearlaments lose to the Dimensional Barrier. If you really are hating Sprite, if you're playing against a lot of Sprite, which I haven't really been seeing them too much in the ladder, you could put into your deck Devastation Virus, which does quite well against them. So you could have another card that auto wins another matchup. You'd have 1 Deck Devi, 1 Eradicator, 1 Dimensional Barrier set up based on the matchup, and then just wipe it up, clean up everyone, and just win the duel. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I appreciate you for watching. I'll see you on Twitch or on YouTube. We are out.